Good afternoon, committee members and other parties of interest. This is the evaluation committee meeting for RPS 25-00191, architectural/engineering services for Brandon Fire Station number 11 replacement. My name is Ethan Kersey and I'm the senior buyer assigned to this project. This meeting is being held in part by means of communications and media technology and has been publicly noticed. Active participation will be for committee members only. Provisions have been made for any member of the public desiring to have access to view the meeting. The recording will also be available after the meeting is ended. If you are watching online, please make sure you mute your mic and turn off your camera throughout the duration of the meeting. Please be advised that the cone of silence is still in effect. All meetings and correspondence must include me. Again, for the record, this meeting is being recorded and has been publicly noticed. At this time, I will ask each committee member to introduce themselves for the record, beginning with the committee chairperson.
I'm Tara Williams, with Capital Programs, the Architectural Services Manager.
This is Mansoor Yazdi, Architecture Services, Capital Programs Department.
Chris Rideout, Infrastructure Development Manager, Hillsborough County Fire Rescue.
Mario Bolag, Architect, Capital Service, Capital Programs.
Thank you, guys. On May 23rd, 2025, we received a total of 10 proposals. The committee will evaluate, discuss, and score by consensus the proposals received. Each proposal is to be evaluated based on only the information provided in that proposal as it correlates to the requirements and evaluation criteria set forth in the solicitation. The evaluation committee chair, Tara Williams, will lead the discussion for the scoring. After each category is discussed, please state the final consensus scoring agreed upon by each committee member so that I may record it in the scoring spreadsheet. After the conclusion of the scoring, I will verify the scores with the committee and provide the rankings. Tara, I will now turn it over to you to begin the meeting.
All right. Okay. So I think we should start in order, if that's okay with you guys, and we can just go around the table for each proposal. So the first one would be for Wanamaker Jensen. And then the scoring criteria is ability of the firm's experience with similar projects in size, firm's willingness to ability to meet the schedule and budget, and effect of the firm's recent, current, and projected workload. So, Mansoor, you want to
Yeah, let's start with this one.
One for one.
Yes. Criteria number one, Wanamaker Johnson appears that, they have a good team up design and all the discipline, they have experience with the fire station projects. They've various fire station, also government facility. And so to me, all the people that are involved, they mentioned even geotechnical surveyor, landscaping, all these are having experience with the fire station. Therefore, I give them 34 out of 35.
Yeah.
Yeah. I too found that their ability and their professional resumes were in line with what we expect. Competent architects, AIAs, accredited. I too found that they have a considerable fire and other public safety and public service project experience, some of which is local to the area, which is very valuable to us. Based on those ratings, I rated them at a 28.
Wanamaker Jensen, looking through their proposal, I appreciate that they responded strongly to the request for lead expertise. They have a lead consultant. Also appreciate the in-house cost controls. They have a contractor that's going to help with the cost, especially because in this environment, in a hard bid job, it'll be good to have that on hand to keep everything in line. And they have a wide variety of, not a wide variety of projects listed here, but they have a good amount of fire safety and rescue experience. The challenge I saw was their project manager didn't have a lot of that experience, but they have a lot of support around it. So I gave them a 28.
Okay, like you guys, I felt the same way. Lots of fire station experience, lots of public safety experience. So I found it hard to, take points away from them after reviewing the other proposals. So I feel kind of the same with Mansoura, was that more of like I've heard before, just the quantity of projects that they had. Can we review all of them at once and then come back to decide the score, or do you want us to come up with a score?
It makes
Per
more sense
category.
for the score per
Okay.
category, yeah. You don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if we go somewhere kind of in the middle with them, or,
And honestly, Chris, the package you're proposing this one to qualify, the architects for these projects, so. They've done a wonderful job. I'm looking at, the firms, people that work in there, they have a qualification, they have done experience with the fire stations. And, basically, so I don't see any reason don't score them on this one, so I'm stick with my 34.
Okay.
So,
I would agree with that.
okay, so.
are you good with that, Mario?
34 consensus.
The fact that, so that mention all the,
Yeah, the quantity of projects they had.
yeah, so, that's fire station, that we basically the expertise fire station, public safety, but mainly fire station, so.
I would agree with you.
Yeah,
Okay, so experience with projects of similar size and type. Start this one,
Yeah.
kind of the same.
so the same thing on same lines, we need, a lot of fire stations, so. It's quite what the purpose of this, proposal is, RFP packages, so I give them 34 on that too.
Okay. And then the same boat with Midsor there. Again, same thing, just quantity of projects and size of projects. Same with all their engineers that they have on their team. It was kind of hard to knock them down, in my opinion.
Sure. From a fire operations perspective, I was impressed by what they had done in Clearwater with a station that had been damaged and working on a station where we had to keep operations as opposed to a new station where there was no operations. Combine that with their portfolio of what they've done, I scored them at a 32.
32.
So I scored them on a 33 based on, experience and that sort of stuff.
Okay,
So
I
33,
think we're all kind of in the same there.
Yeah, 33
That
works.
said was 33.
so you had what,
I had 34 also.
34, you had 33,
33,
Um,
32.
I had 32, but would agree 33.
33, so. Well, I don't see why, because they're not fire stations, public safety, so. Are you guys willing to go to 34 unless we have reason they don't have experience with the fire stations? They have, so all the disciplines that have fire station experience. So. I did propose, the criteria won't say that they are qualified, so everybody's, doing the
Yeah,
fire
just
station
the
service.
criteria here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so it's from 26 to 35. We're all in the same range. I just wanted to make sure we weren't down a
Yeah.
level. Okay,
So prime firm really that we explain all the entity, all the disciplines that have, fire station from the structural, mechanical, electrical, it, landscape, so. So,
Ethan, could I ask a procedural question?
Sure.
Forgive me if this is out of line, and I probably should know this. If we come up at the end of this with ties,
okay. Yeah, right, because.
Correct.
Remember the short list,
Okay.
We are scoring these independently of each
Yes.
other.
yes, understood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
so.
Next.
What
yeah,
is
so
now?
if they're independent of each other, we'll have to come to that consensus first.
Yes,
So
yes.
Mansour and I are at 34, and you guys were a little bit lower, so Mansour's arguing to make it 34.
Oh, because all the experience, so unless I'm missing something that. That we experience based on the documents we put on the street. Okay, so.
Yeah. Everyone agrees to 34?
Yes, sir.
Okay, criteria number 3, firm's willingness and ability to meet the schedule and budget.
Okay, it looks like they have a good understanding of, how the budget works, how the schedule works. I really, that we could, they really walk us through this one, even to talk with the CMAR. And also, that experience with the CMAR, so if we decide to go that route option, they provide the option if you're gonna go with the CMAR. There's opportunity right there, we have experience, we done this there. And they understand the schedule, looks like all the all disciplines that are available for these projects. With that said, I give them 14 out of 15. And the exhibit good, layout for the schedule too, so. Means a mechanism to how to, control the budget too, so. With that said,
I thought their proposal clearly showed a willingness and an ability to meet those schedules. They have some project management and some time management processes in place that when we get to the construction, that looks like it'll be manageable in terms of workload. I gave them a 15.
So they have some stuff in there about some innovative strategies that they plan on using and they have used in the past to get through any obstacles. But the criteria asks for a backup plan in case we, have a staffing issue. I didn't see them specifically talk about a backup plan. Perhaps I missed that. So I gave them a 13.
Okay. I gave them a 14 also. I appreciated the in-house cost estimating, the estimates at each phase, and I like that they had some fast track scheduling plans. Like I think looking at many of their proposals, looking for that backup staffing plan, what do they do? But so I kind of feel the same way. I'm at a 14. You said you're at 14.
14.
You're at 15. Okay. So 14, I think, is your consensus there.
I would agree.
Okay, criteria number 4 is the effect of the firm's recent, current, and projected workload. Sort.
Yeah, it looks like the availability of, varies from 30% to 75% in that one. Looks like they have staff, not backup, I said, they have necessary, people to manage this project. So with that, I'll give them 14.
I track those very similar comments. They are indeed well-staffed. They have those project management practices in place. Considering their performance history on previous projects, I gave them a 15.
Yeah, and in fact, they provided all the disciplines, like the geotechnical surveyor, so you name it, all entity are gonna be involved with the project, so they already did their homework.
I gave them a 14. Yeah. They have availability, they have staff that will take us through the end of the project. So.
Okay. And I had a 13, because that's where I kind of knocked them for not having that backup plan was on that criteria. So I think sounds like our consensus is 14, 15, 14, 13 to 14.
14, I like it.
You think you get to do the math?
Yes, I will give those totals at the end. You can move on to your next.
Okay, the next one is Frank G. Rel. Architect. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, so criteria 1, ability of firm.
Okay, This firm is established in 1982. The main office is in New York. Of course, they have branch offices throughout of the country. Local office for this firm is in West Palm Beach area. Of course, this is not used as an excuse or anything that is coding this, but this firm has experience with the fire station, but they didn't indicate the consultant all the disciplines they needed for this project, like who's gonna be the civil engineer, who's gonna be mechanical, electrical, if I'm not correct, so if I'm not wrong. Okay, so anyway, with that said, I give them 28.
In reviewing their proposal, they had some very attractive fire stations. However, I'm not certain that some of the construction and design features in a New York State fire station are necessarily applicable to Florida fire station.
Sure.
Fire Rescue 2 has the concerns of distant architect and project manager. And I too noticed the fact that we're real heavy on the consultant information, which is a big part of our success. I rated them at 25.
Same thing, they have the consultants here, and according to the score breakdown, lacks minor disciplines, that's 6 to 12. So if you don't have that, it's hard to move beyond 12.
So what does your score 12?
Score 17.
17.
17, okay. So I felt the same way as Mario, because I was really unclear who was on the project team other than the architect, and just based on the scoring criteria, I have them at a 10 actually, because 6 to 12 says some project team personnel have an adequate level of qualifications and experience, but project team lacks minor disciplines. And I just don't know who's on the team. That's where I'm struggling.
You need to move beyond
Yeah,
that 12.
because,
17.
as we know, the technology, consultants are gonna be critical on these projects, HVAC, everybody, so it's really hard to determine who's gonna be on the project. So I'm very different than where you guys are.
Yeah.
Scoring.
I'm kind of the same, I was, yeah. It looks like 15.
I just think.
It was at 25.
Yeah, I think it's hard
So
to,
can't move past that third level of scoring.
I think both your comments are well placed.
yeah.
So.
So I think if you put them towards the middle, like Mario was saying, like 12, 13 in that range. See, but 13 to 19 says project team contains all the necessary disciplines, and I just,
Yep,
I don't
they
know
don't.
who they have on their team right now.
Yeah, the civil engineer or the civil.
Right.
More importantly, in the scope of work, it says preferred civil engineer local.
Yeah,
So you could have a civil engineer and still gotta go back to the scope too.
But they're impressive projects in a fire station. I mean, Prime Firm has another experience with the fire station. Fine, so what does your score? It was 17?
I was at a 10,
Okay.
Mario was at a 17, so my personal feeling is it's hard to put them in this category of 13 to 19 when
Yeah.
it says project team contains all necessary disciplines.
No, it's not.
And all they're showing is that they'll have a civil structural MEP, but we just don't know who they are.
Yeah,
Supporting 13 with Mario, if you think
Okay.
that's.
Does that work for
oh,
you?
yeah. So,
Okay, so consensus score for criteria 1 for Frank G. Ralph is a 13.
I think actually it should be 12, just based off of our, because 13 is that,
Next,
level,
next.
is that next level, yeah.
So 12 consensus.
12.
Great.
Okay, firm's experience with similar projects in size and type.
so I'm gonna vary on this one because the fire stations, similar to this fire station, but again, main concern was that, is the disciplines. I don't know that we experienced with the fire station, so, but I just give it 3, but I'm going to, knock it down with my scoring, based on this criteria scoring, range.
Okay.
So if it's falling into that, so I just want to
I
give
too
you.
gave them a 30. I think their experience is well demonstrated.
I'm fair. So
Mario?
Gave them a 22. They have a variety, sorry. I only see, this is frame G, right?
Yes, sir.
They have 3 projects listed.
Yeah.
We need a 5.
no,
Be one of the minimum of 5 according to the criteria.
We asked for within the, we said list a maximum
Maximum
of
of
10,
10
preferably in
in the last 5 years.
the.
Yeah, I just saw 3 projects and a lot of them, I can't remember the dates exactly. I don't think they're current.
Don't think they provided dates. That was my comment. was
Exactly.
for it to
I believe
determine-
that's not even, that's it. Yes, I have here my no start or completion date, no clear dates.
Yeah, so I, kind of felt similarly, I had them at a 19 or a 20. Because those fire stations are nice projects, but I just don't know when they were completed. And then there's only 3. So I think that range puts us between a 20 and 25 on the scorecard, which just has adequate, successful, recent experience with projects. And then the next level down says adequate, successful, recent within the last 5 years. It's a pretty simple. So you were at a 30, 32, and 20.
does it fall into
I think we fall into,
this
yeah,
one
we
here?
just need to decide if we're in. This has superior
They're not spread because they don't have,
experience or just has, more than adequate.
unfirm has experience.
Yeah.
But, they didn't provide the disciplines, so we don't know. So I think we're okay with that 25, they stay within that 25.
Okay, 20 to 25 range.
Yes. No, I can use that
22.
22. We're gonna be the middle of these two. So 22.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
Everyone agrees? 22?
Okay, criteria number 3, firm's willingness and ability to meet schedule and budget.
Everything all right?
I was gonna ask you if you could read that.
So you're number 3. So this firm understand the schedules. Okay. And the other thing is that understand budget what do you call it? Understand the budget and budget control. But I didn't see what they did, they provided a proposal with this,
Yes.
which was not relevant to this, so he wasn't asking for this one. So we all said that, I give him 11.
I think their proposal demonstrated the willingness and the ability. I gave them a 14.
Yeah, I gave them, and, I think they didn't say anything about a backup. Oh, they said they're gonna pull from their existing staff, which kind of put them in a 10 range that they actually had a backup. Sorry.
Yeah, criteria 6 to 10 says, or a score 6 to 10 says that submittal shows a good understanding and approach to scope, schedule, and budget. But the project budget and schedule. The next level from 11 to 15 says that submittal shows a superior understanding of approach to scope, schedule, and budget with potential improvement, cheaper project delivery, and cost savings.
They didn't provide any kind of, instrument like in software for the budget, controlling the budget or schedule.
Mhm.
So. So what was your score?
I had 10. I had.
I did 10 also,
What was that, 14?
10.
14.
I have 11, so you have 14, I got 10.
So I think, again, we need to decide if we're in a good understanding of approach and scope or superior understanding.
Good
of
understanding.
Scope.
Good
Yeah.
understanding.
Good
Sounds
understanding.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're at 10 then.
Yeah.
10 agreed.
Yeah.
And then criteria number 4, effective firm's recent, current, and projected workload.
I think their workload as it stands today and what they projected seems reasonable. I didn't get a whole lot of detail on future management of that or technology to manage that. So I had them at a 12.
So Chris had 12, I had 10. Are you?
I'm a 13. Yeah.
I also had them at a 10, just based on, again, off our scorecard. Submittal shows the current project team has adequate time and available personnel.
But they didn't provide the civil,
And,
mechanical, all discipline, so.
right,
Yeah, so.
so I think that bumps them down to that second tier of criteria, so that's a 10.
10 agreed.
Next proposal, White and Garcia. All right, criteria number 1, so.
Okay, then. Flashman Garcia Montesquieu's architects. They have well experienced with understanding fire station design and all disciplines, all the civils, mechanical, electrical, all these are very well experienced with the fire station public safety facilities. So with that, I've been with them before.
So I find the same thing and have experience with Fleishman Garcia. They've got a wealth of fire station experience, new fire stations. They've got considerable fire station renovation experience. They also have temporary fire station experience, which will be a component of this project. Many of these things they perform for HCFR. I rated them at a 30.
Comparing their proposal with what we're asking for. They have a lead dedicated consultant, they have cost control consultant to help us through the bid process. Whether we choose to use that or not, but at least they're thinking about it. The PM has extensive experience in our RFP. We were specifically asking for the PM, things about the PM, right? Now, scoring criteria talks about uniquely qualified. I call Ethan about this. So what does uniquely mean? Like top 5% or something? I would think. Publication, that sort of stuff. So I give him a 31.
Like Mansour, I felt like it was hard to knock them for their ability because they too have a ton of fire station experience. Their PM has so many fire stations. But I don't know how many more possibly.
And even the disciplines, all the
All their disciplines.
consultants they're hiring. And like I
And
said,
it provides, like Mansour said, all of the possible consultants that they can have on this job too, so, which have, again, extensive experience with fire stations. So I had them at a 34 also.
so there's nothing I could really knock them down because they have experience, with the fire stations, public safety, even provide, the consultant for cost estimating, so.
I mean, their main
Yeah,
principal in charge, PM, has
extensive.
5 pages of fire stations on there.
Oscar County, Hillsborough County, Newport Beach, West Chapel, Wesley Chapel, you name
Yeah.
it, so. So we're qualified for the fire stations, so.
So we're kind of between a 30 to 34 right now, which that's all in the same range of criteria.
That's the highest score I could give, so I've been 34, so.
I could come up, so.
Okay. Mario?
So why not, let's do 35?
What's that?
Why, let's not do 35?
Well, I've never given perfect, nobody's perfect, but there's still, you find something, so. But 34 is best score I could give, I'm put into that category. So,
Okay, 34.
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone agrees to 34?
Yeah.
absolutely.
Criteria.
Unless you want to go 35, fine with me.
I think it's fair to go 34.
Therefore, now I'm saying that it's gonna be, it's still it's gonna come back to 34, It's a majority 34.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, criteria number 2. Again, experience with
Okay.
projects of similar type.
Like I said, I did an extensive fire station project, consultants, with all this plan, so I'm going 34 too.
I was at 30 again, so
Make sure we're talking good scores here, please.
yes, sir.
Yeah, I have my 32 because, they have 6 completed in the last 5 years from what I can see. And multiple repeat consultants, so they have some continuity there.
Again, same thing for me. I had it at a 34, just again, the quantity. It's hard to bring them down, in my opinion, just from experience level for all of the trades, so. So we're kind of average right now, at like a 33 for that criteria between the 4 of us.
34, that's mine. Yes, so yours was 34, right?
34. Yeah.
So they have experience with the fire station, so
34 it is.
34.
Okay, criteria number 3. Willingness to meet, willingness and ability to meet schedule and budget.
That's when you've got someone to speed on the stand budget and the schedule on the fire station, so what we define in the proposal, that 514.
14. Okay. Chris?
I found that their proposal demonstrated a willingness and an ability. Combine that with a proven performance history. Masur also mentioned that they've demonstrated their understanding of the budget and how that functions. I gave them 15.
I give them a 13, superior understanding of the approach, and they had some, some examples of how they would do that.
I actually was much lower on this category. I had them at a 11. Not because because of what they presented in their proposal.
Yeah.
They had lots of information, in my opinion, on what they would do to the site. And that's great information, but I didn't find what we had asked for, which was potential improvements for project delivery and cost savings. So it was really more specific to the building and the site than it was about the project delivery method and the cost savings, in my opinion. So in comparison to some other submittals that we have clear bullet points of costs and potential improvements for how we would deliver the project. So that's where I'm kind of at a iffy point with them. Because there's nothing, in my opinion, specific about this particular project. So if you look at their proposal and criteria 3, it's really 2 pages of things about the apparatus bay, the living operations, really about the design of the building.
Sorry, so this is, okay, I'm looking at it now, I think I'm. So they talked a lot about stuff that they previously did this way, at this site,
Yes, yes.
so I have the right.
But this is, but for this criteria, it's their ability to meet schedule and budget requirements.
So future stuff, we have a lot of historical.
Right.
they only had a graphic of the consumption was.
So at one point, even going into more detail to say how they could preserve the existing building, like living spaces there, do the reinforcing, making a hurricane hardening, with expansion, they come up with some options, right there. So it looks like they did the homework, so they're trying to figure
They're
out,
trying to
so,
figure it out, right?
yes. So that's why I give them rating 14. So they're trying to, come up with better solution or whatever. Of course, we don't know the solution yet, so,
Right.
but they're coming up with some idea that can do something, save the existing buildings. I mean, maybe would be one story, but that existing living code, they maybe don't want to, reinforce.
Yeah.
So he came up some, they give a lot of thought to this, so with all be fairness, so they put a lot of efforts to this package, so.
I agree. I'm still kind of saying, I'm looking for, what would they do from a budget stand? I mean, maybe your argument is that if they're keeping things that's helpful for our budget, but we don't really know that yet.
I only say that, we're trying to save as much of the existing building to save some money, so anyway, so. What was your score?
I would-
15.
I was at 15.
You're at
And you?
14.
13.
You're
13, so
No.
are you willing to go to 14? I mean,
That's not better with that.
But
so what is that criteria?
I think 13 puts us in the middle because I'm very low and some of you are very high. So I
you
think-
can live at 13?
I think 13. puts
Yeah,
us
I
in the
think your
middle.
points are well taken about the budget. That's great perspective.
Yeah,
13.
Increase.
Okay, criteria number 4, effective firms, recent, current, and projected workload.
National Government Facility provided, the, what do you call the chart, so, and they're showing the availability of the firms between 45 to 90%. So they show all the discipline from landscape architect, civil engineer, mechanical, electrical engineer, so structural engineer, they provide all this. So the varies between, we call 45 to 90% of value for this project. So I give them that one with 14.
Dr. DePlan did speak accurately to what their workload is today. I like the pre-planning chart that they've done that shows the impact on their trades and their existing consultants. I scored them a 13.
Scored them a 13 also based on the graphic, that was very helpful, providing a graphic as opposed to just a written word to tell the story a bit.
So, I scored them kind of lower in this category too, because it seemed to me like the, members of the team that had the most experience had the least amount available. So I felt like I had ranked them very high based off of their ability, but then if he's not available to work on the project, that kind of puts us in a camper. So I had to put them actually at 11 for this category. So I think that puts us again at like a 13. Kind of.
I understand that velocity.
So you had 11,
Yes.
14,
I was at 13.
13. 13.
Was that 13?
I'm saying 13 for them.
so go to 13.
13.
13 consensus.
Oh. Next proposal is from Wilder.
Okay. Yes.
You good?
Yep. Wellness architecture.
Wilder architecture.
Yes.
For criteria number 1.
Okay. All right, criteria, wellness architects are well qualified, is a very qualified firms with a lot of experience with the fire stations. And also the disciplines, team, civil engineering, mechanical, electrical, and also structural engineering, all have experience with the fire stations. So I know well qualified, have a lot of experience. So I'll give them 34 to that guy.
I've too found that Wilder has a broad range of fire station experience across Florida. Their resumes of their professionals is outstanding. They've done extensive work with fire rescue, Hillsborough County Fire Rescue in the past. They've helped develop prototype stations that we're using moving forward. I rated them at 33.
And I rated them at 32. Primarily because, well, of course, they have extensive experience. The team is highly experienced. The proposed project manager is highly experienced. There's a lot of continuity, but if we look at what we asked for in the request for proposal, we asked for some lead stuff in there, and they have people qualified with that, but I don't know who they haven't executed. Perhaps they should identify that person, but so I'll go 32.
I had a 33 for this one also. So I think that puts us in the middle, 33, you're at 34, you're at 32. I'll go with 33. 33 for different.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, criteria number 2.
So criteria number 2 about this architecture. They have a lot of experience with the fire station that requested throughout the, state of Florida. So I'll give them 34.
Their experience is amply demonstrated in their proposal in lots of different locales in the municipality. Most recently, they built new Station 29 for Hillsborough County Fire Rescue, which we're very pleased with. They have training facility experience. All that said, I rated them at 33.
I rated them at 33. Primarily because their information was presented very well. The project manager, time frame, budget, everything's a nice little bullet point rather than clogging it up in a paragraph. So it made it easy to digest, easy to understand what they wanted to communicate.
I also had them at 33, so I think that's our consensus.
So, yeah. Well, I had
And 34,
34.
and we all had 33.
Okay, so 33.
33.
Okay, criteria number 3.
So I have a good understanding of the budget and schedule. So, so they're very budget conscious on the projects. So they understand the approach of this. So with that said, I give you 15.
Okay.
I found that their proposal aptly demonstrated a willingness and an ability to meet the schedule. I think that they have proven process management and milestone management experience. That being said, I rated them a 15.
I rated them a 13. Looking through the projects, they all seem to be on schedule and have good schedule health. That's why I rated them 13.
And then was at a 14. Again, I appreciate their cost modeling. All the phases they go through and give us the checkpoints, using RS means, which we're all very familiar with, doing some monthly reporting. They indicated that they do some life cycle cost analysis also. So there was a lot of information on budget in their proposal. So, yeah. So it's at 14. We are at 2 15s, a 13, and a 14 for them. 14.
I have 15, you have 15, you have 13, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have 13, 14. So let's go with 14. 14.
Okay, criteria number 4.
Okay. Let's see, the availability of the team, discipline. So. Yeah, so they're showing, based on the graph showing level, is they're showing the availability between 35 to 45%. So I give them 14 for that.
I think the projected workload as it stands today is within the realms of manageableness. I gave them a 15.
So
Maureen?
I gave them I gave them a 14, particularly because, at least we have a project manager that's available between 25 and 35%. That's who's gonna be driving the bus, I believe. That's most important.
I was at a 13, similar reasons, 30%. So
35%.
35%. So I think that averages for us to 14.
14 consensus?
Okay.
14. Next proposals from Carruthers and Associates.
When are you gonna take a break?
Yeah, one more, then we'll have to wait, we'll take a break after that.
Okay. That we were doing this one.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. It's not broke.
Anyway, ours is the architect, Carruthers Associate Architects. They are experienced firm, qualified firms. They have all the consultants experience. We experienced architects, but this one civil engineer is not experienced. But didn't indicate any fire stations projects, or so maybe it's innovation project or schools, mechanical, electrical, all those things. So even they didn't indicate who's going to be the landscape architect from this. So with that said, I'm going to 30.
Yeah, I too didn't notice any specific fire station experience. The only really fire station experience was Master Consulting as one of their consultants.
Yeah.
I gave them a 15.
Similar to Chris, they don't have a lot of public safety experience. They do have a lot of experience in active buildings and extensive experience working with around phasing and that sort of stuff. So I gave them a 20.
So I had the similar notes, no fire stations. Their civil team had no fire stations, electrical had no fire stations. Structural, again, is the only one that had many fire stations. So I tried to think based off of the size of projects that they did showcase. And again, looking back at the criteria, so I was at a 25. Because I don't think that they have this criteria between 26 and 35 says exceptional level of experience. I don't think that we can put them in that category. Do you agree? The next says above average level of experience and then adequate level of experience. So I think we're somewhere in that between us. So it's between a 13 and a 25.
So what I gave them 20.
You gave them a 20. So you're at the lower end of that category.
Kind of in the middle
Yeah.
of the 13.
So between 13 to 25, yeah, you're in the middle of the thing.
So how about the zero score?
25.
25 on so.
And Chris was 50.
Chris was
15.
So he's kind of in that adequate level.
So let's go to this right here.
I said 20.
Hit 20.
Okay.
I'm ready, level. So
Kind
yeah,
of in the middle there.
yeah. So
Between 13 to 25.
yes,
So we're.
Joy works for me.
20.
That's criteria 1 for Carruthers and Associates.
Yeah. All right, criteria number 2.
So I didn't see any fire stations, anything, just like I said, I did a lot of, renovation, mechanical, electrical, it is, so. Yes. And, so, well, there's disciplines that have a public, projects experience. But mainly renovation projects, you guys mentioned it, so I give them 25.
I know it's almost mirror, on Source, the lack of fire station projects. I know they've done a lot of renovations, that sort of thing. I rated them at a 15.
I have them at a 20. I just don't think the information was communicated well as far as team members. This is, I think this question had something to do with the team, and I don't know if it's just that it's always the same two team leaders on every project, because I don't know if that it's listed.
Yeah, so for criteria 2, it's a maximum of 10 recent projects within the past 5 years to indicate proficiency of similar work. So conversely, like for criteria 1, it's the resumes of the personnel, right? So while for me personally, thought that they had similar, their personnel probably had size of projects and maybe cost of projects, but then as a firm did not. So I had rated them rather low for this. I had another 12 just for this criteria specifically as minor successful experience with projects of the similar
size.
I had them at 20.
Yeah, and so that is more than adequate, successful recent within the past 5-year projects of similar size and type. So I think because some of them had a similar size, they just were not the same type of building.
Yeah, well, yeah,
That's the relevant
criteria is restricted because it's saying, referring you back to RPS that
Right.
talks about the fire stations. If we didn't have that there, then we could talk about any kind of.
Right. So, I felt like Chris did that lack of fire stations, their lack of experience with them kind of puts them in the category of minor, superior, and minor or adequate. But you
Yeah.
can't be more than adequate or superior.
That's right. Okay, so.
So,
I'm right on the edge, I have my 20, so.
yeah.
He's gonna put another category, so I will go between,
I think it's
so
between 6 and 19,
the-
basically,
go to that 13 range,
13,
so
Yeah.
I'll go 13, between 13 and 19.
13 and 19.
So just give it 15.
15, if you put.
I was at 15, so that's a good
Kind of
one.
at the edge of where we all were, is 15, it's kind of in the middle between all of our
That's
stuff. Yeah.
15, okay, category number 2, 15.
Okay, category number 3.
So, really didn't elaborate anything on that in the schedule. It was very, very brief. I just gave it 8.
Okay,
I thought they were a little light on the details as well. Did demonstrate a willingness, with that set, I gave them a 13.
I gave them. Yeah, the information's there, but it's not expanded. There's a good basis, but give them an 8. I think they could have added some more information to make it clear.
Yeah, it's just very brief. Walk us through the schedule, walk us through how budget, how you control the budget, like, value engineering things to bring the budget. It was just 1 page.
yes.
I think so.
So I had said that they indicated that they would cost estimate, but not really gave any detail on how that would be done. So I put them at 5, shows adequate approach. Just that's the criteria. So between 5 and 13, I think 8 is. You guys are both at 8.
I'm gonna make also.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You guys are at 8. So,
8 works.
8.
Okay,
okay,
so. Next category is for the effective firm workload, current month projected workload, right?
Yeah.
So.
So I'll start. How's that? You look frustrated.
You know, I'm trying to figure out, you know, so even though I did that, you know, this one,
Yeah.
it's just to provide information about their own firm, not their
Those were my
it's
cuts
plan all
too.
those things, so, you know,
I only have
so. I just,
availability of architecture too.
yeah, I just gave them 8,
Okay.
okay, so. That's what I did.
Chris?
Was that 12, recognizing too, a lack of detail. I like the bar chart, but it doesn't, I don't walk away with much from it.
Right.
Yeah, I gave them, I gave them a 10. I think they have availability and then also even though the bar chart is very vague, it's
Yeah,
communicate backup that someone's there to fill in. I think continuity, that contingency plans, but there's not a lot of detail here.
plus they didn't provide all the disciplines, you know, civil engineer
Yeah,
and
right.
all this, so I went with mechanical, this, that's,
Right.
that one comes here.
So I had them at a 6 because,
Yeah.
again, lack of, you used to do it 8,
No, I actually had 10.
10. So we're between 6 and 12.
Probably 9, yeah.
Well, that's fine, but the problem is I didn't provide the other people's, you know, all the disciplines, so.
Yeah,
So
so
just talk about 8 people's in that firms.
good, if you're at a 9, that criteria says submittal shows that the consultant project team
Yeah.
adequate time.
Team is, could be,
And then from 4 to 5, it says submittal shows while the consultant has adequate time and personnel available.
okay,
Prior workload commitments may impact the ability to complete services on schedule.
so you had 9?
They
sounds like
maybe
it's-
it's an average from where we're all at. I was at 6, which is just basically the low end of the
Yeah,
project.
same. Yeah.
And
Same.
You were there,
I had 10 originally.
so are you willing to go to 8?
I think we talked
only
about
do
9, but 8 is fine.
8 distance, 8. Okay. That's for criteria 4.
yes,
And that puts us halfway through. We'll take a quick break. It is 1:57. What about 2:05? All right.
That is my snack. I feel like I'm back.
I'll be back at 2:05.
So he's muted?
are we allowed to
Okay, we will resume here. I believe next on our list is LDD Blue Line, correct?
So great, that was quite a long.
Okay, you guys don't have a big on this one.
Yep. It's your retirement.
We live. It's just legend. It's a long, long way to go. So, anyway, so. Welcome everybody back, right? Yes, all right, so. Online, this proposal have extensive experience in foreign architecture and we go in fire station projects, also in different state, of course, you know. The structural engineer has experience with the fire station projects, and also the mechanical, electrical, that we experience with the fire station. And civil is not specified, so I don't know who was the experience. Civils, if I'm not making a mistake, so
No.
is there?
It's not here,
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
So
So with that one, I'm gonna tell you.
page 6. Oh, yeah, yeah, so
Civil,
it's
you have
infinity.
infinity.
It's infinity.
Sorry.
okay, symphony with, yes, sorry. I saw that. Is that local too?
No.
Even I'm talking about local now, not some other states or,
Well, Infinity, they look like they're not local, and I don't think they have to be local.
no, I'm talking about other
RST
states,
says,
other state.
well, he has to be licensed in Florida. I don't see,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Oh, you go. Good point. So with that said, I'll give them 31.
Found that their proposal demonstrates that their firm has adequate experience in designing fire stations. They had some very nice fire stations in their proposal. I found that they have a Florida presence and experience is also very helpful. I rated them a 30.
Here. Blue line,
Yes, sir.
so I rated them a 30. They, I'm not sure about in the criteria somewhere it's talks about the PM being a licensed architect for, I'm not sure, but the PM. Is status Patrick Wheeler,
Mhm.
so. I gotta read it down.
I agree, it doesn't say. I don't know if it's in the back.
But they haven't done any fire stations, you know, instead of Florida, a couple of members of the team done fire station with the experience. With fire station.
Yes, that's saying like most of the architecture didn't have a lot of fire station experience. Their consultants seem to have more.
Yes.
So I had them at the lower end of the criteria 27. Just.
Yeah, the project manager should be a state. A Florida licensed architect. The criteria is-
So we're between a 27 and 31 right now.
I set a 30.
30. On Mario,
Prior to 32.
I would,
30.
Yeah.
I would say because of that, and it being a part of the criteria, it's probably gonna not be low.
Well, the
Correction.
lowest score is a 26 for the last category, which is has an exceptional level of experience, uniquely qualified, project team contains all necessary disciplines, organization of the team is superior, actual understanding of the project and what will take to complete it.
Well,
I don't think that.
Okay.
I think that category.
okay, they did this plans, you know. They all did this plan, they don't have experience with the fire stations. Just limited people, you know.
Prime firm has superior professional resources to properly provide its services. Proposed project manager is uniquely qualified. That's our criteria between 26 and.
Is that time? Or something like that, because I mean, fire station experience.
Their project manager does have fire station experience.
With different
Fire
things.
station. No, with
With that,
that, it
just doesn't fall in line with our.
I just think, I don't see if it's, they provided their license. And they might have gave you guys that
Okay.
separately.
But then this plan out with the fire station experience, I can go.
Yeah, the thing is geared towards prime.
So their principal in charge has less fire station experiences, which is fine. Their PM has 3 fire station projects. And then some projects that
Simple.
are probably similar size and budget. And then their interior designer has a few fire stations.
Consultants, structural engineer,
Their structural engineer has a ton of fire station experience.
that's correct.
And the structural team seems more than qualified. Yeah,
So does that get them into the 26 and 35?
I think now this is the ability of the firm and their personnel. So I think the next criteria was their experience of projects of similar size and type. That's where you're more in line with the fire station comment. So to me, it's do the members of this team, based on their prior experience, can they deliver a fire station project? Of, this size.
Well, I have my, what did I say, 30?
You had a 30, yes.
You have my 27? I mean,
But I think we're all in that same
Categories.
category
So
between
29,
26 and 35, so. Yeah, I think 29 seems reasonable.
I'll go with the 29, so.
Yes.
Race one more.
Okay, criteria number 2, projects of similar size and scope, type.
No fire station, other states, so Georgia, there's not so many fire stations in Georgia. And especially consultant too, so, with that one, I'll give them, 30.
Good, okay.
I noted that they have experience in doing station construction with crews in-house. It's a big part of what this project is about, is how to design the fire station while we keep our operations. They do have considerable fire, public safety project experience. We gave them a 30.
give them a 28 based on experience and continuity through multiple projects.
Okay, I also give them a 30, similar to you guys, similar, some prior
So-
season, similar size.
So we're going with 30?
I like it.
Okay, criteria number 3,
So, I guess, consider proposals have good understanding of the schedule and budget, however, not indicated, not elaborated on cost control, such as, alternates, value engineering, sort of that things, so that for that reason, I'm just giving it 12.
oh, okay.
I think the proposal demonstrated a willingness and an ability to meet the schedule. I too noted that there was some cost control info that was a little lacking, that led to be desired. I gave them a 13.
Brian?
Gave them a 12. They have cost control and they talk about cost control, value engineering, rigorous budget management, that sort of stuff, but probably would have been more useful to add an example or something illustrated or something like that. That helps to communicate your ability more than just, this thing. So I gave them a 12.
Okay, similar, I had an 11 for that, in comments about kind of more of a broad stroke and not very specific. So I think that puts us at a 12.
Agreed.
Agree?
Well, that's what I have.
12, 11, 13, so we're at 12.
Well,
All right, criteria report.
So, okay, so for this, let's see what I have. So this proposal is included the availability, but not provided the graph, right, percentage of the teams, what the percentage of availability are for this project. So with that one, I just give them 10. But then they even mentioned the availability of the sub-consultants, so I give them 10.
Chris?
I think the projected workload is manageable. That's based on today. They did spell out vaguely some management tools and practices. I think those are acceptable. I gave them a 12.
Yeah, I gave them a 10, because I don't see a whole lot there about the consultants. I see LED blue line, fully capable. But I think to get to the next level of scores, you got to see a little bit more about
Yeah.
the entire team.
Yeah, they talk about the other project they have, or the commitment they have, but they don't say how much time they're gonna put these projects.
Agreed. I had a comment about I was unclear if these were start dates or finish dates of the current projects to try to determine what their current workload is. So I said the current projects don't seem to be excessive, but no indication of consultant workload system. So I had a 11/12 also. So I think that was about an 11, 10, 10. And it was between 11 and a 12.
So also the way the current commitments over there are not very,
So,
they have it.
so we're gonna go with 10.
10 says adequate time and available personnel, and 11 and 12 says indicates backup staffing capability.
So we can't.
We don't have
So I don't think we have that.
Yeah, I think we have a 10.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay, that's what we have.
Everyone agrees to 10?
Yeah.
This, we have essentially it's very different.
How you pronounce it?
This was slowly, probably. I think what I think.
I didn't know what it is, I just messed it up. It was so. Next. Yeah, this police architects firms established in 1994. Located in Ocala. All these plants are located in Melbourne, Ocala area, civil engineers in Tampa. Experience with the fire station, they have experience with the fire station. And so, numerous fire stations, so a civil engineer with 14 years of experience, no work on fire stations, so civil engineer have no experience with the fire station, so I'm sure the civil engineer know how to do in projects, but I want to see more details. But with that said, I give them 33. So they've done a lot of fire station, impressive fire station too, so.
So they have quite a resume of fire stations in Central Florida. Their team seems experienced in that respect. They do have an Ocala, Central Florida location. One thing that was disappointing was there's 2 major typos in this. They spelled our county 2 different ways in our cover letter to us. And we're looking for attention to detail. And so that brought them to a 20, in my opinion.
Do they have a civil engineer?
So
Because on the org chart, I don't see a civil engineer.
civil engineer with 14 years
Oh,
experience.
Yeah, he's not on the org chart, okay.
There's not, but he's mentioned some.
Yeah, he's in.
He's mentioned, Kinley Farm.
So engineer landscape, that can be on. So she's there.
No, that's the firm's name.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's Wally Brinkley.
Okay, so, okay, good.
So I have them at 28. So
You have
20.
20.
I'm sorry.
34, just, I have said many conversations.
Yeah, so just give him a little bit of break on this misspelling things. So let's go really mainly on things you don't, you agree, if we are to pay
I
attention
think,
to
Chris,
this.
you need to tell us if you think they had, so the category that you're in is above average level experience, and the next one is an exceptional level experience of the ability of their personnel.
Sure. Clearly, their personnel have the ability. So I would be willing to raise that to meet the consensus of the group.
You were at 28, so we're at a little higher, so I think that puts us more at like a 30. If we average between where we all are. I do think they have quite a bit of experience in fire stations.
Yeah.
And projects.
Yeah.
I think the ability of their firm, I think is, and their consultants is probably very high. So I would think we're maybe more in like a 32 range, a higher end of that scoring criteria. Comments, questions?
I think that's generous.
I think your comments about attention to detail are spot on
Yeah.
though. So. I think I find the right criteria.
So, let's, what was your score, 34?
Yes.
34, I had 33 and you had
I was at 20.
20, because Mrs. Spinner.
Big to spell.
Oh.
And then I'm working out.
28, so are you willing to go with 32? Is that with us, under the category?
No, it still keeps us in that same category. So we have between 26 and 35.
Okay,
So I would recommend that we're at the higher end of that, just
Yeah.
based off of their experience. I think
Yeah.
32 is a good score for how many fire stations they
Yeah.
have in there.
so, all right, so, I had 33, so 32, so with 32.
Fire and rescue, having prefaced the comments with their demonstration of a lot of fire stations, we can agree to that.
Everyone agrees to 32.
Yes.
Criteria number 2.
You're not my teacher. I have another question.
I don't disagree with Chris.
No, you have to be prepared, I mean, you have to pay attention to detail. That was in the detail, so, anyway, next one. Okay, well, they have a lot of experience with the fire stations, so I give them the whole entire team, so I give them 34 for the next category.
Okay. Thanks.
The firm does have considerable fire station experience throughout Central Florida. That being said, I gave them 26.
Yeah, based on their extensive experience, I gave them a 32.
I like Mansour's at a 34, again, just based on the quantity of.
So we put us 34 to 34, 20, 26, 6,
And 32.
32.
So I'll be closer to 30.
So, that scoring criteria is between 26 and 35. I think we're all in that same category. Has superior past and recent successful experience, similar size and type. All scope of services are provided for representative projects in the RPS scope.
So,
And then we asked for a maximum of 10 recent projects within the last 5 years. So I think they had more than 10 projects.
so we need to go with 34?
I think we're
Should we count?
probably somewhere in the middle still.
Okay.
Somebody's
Some
not
more like
here.
a 30 or 30,
30.
somewhere in between.
32-ish.
Like a 30.
32-ish in that range.
Okay, so 33.
Are you willing to come down a little, I guess, is the question.
No,
You're
I'm-
between 26 and 35.
Okay, so like I said, I was 34, so I came down
You can do 33.
33. So they have experience with PlayStation, so
Sure.
Where we at, 32?
We're at 30.
33. I mean,
I'm at 34, so, like I said, I think they had well more than 10 projects.
Yeah.
So.
you get 33 or
For the
34.
quantity of projects.
Oh, they have experience with the fire station, basically, all these plants are there, so. How about the civil engineer, has experience with the fire station?
So, it's Kinley Horn. They have from Kinley Horn.
Let's see the instruction.
Wally,
Mechanical.
gentleman's name is Wally.
So their civil engineer does not indicate.
How about the company?
Do not indicate fire station.
27.
Page 27 and 29
27,
and 29.
so any fire station experience.
I don't,
Mechanical, electrical is very critical, so
I don't see any fire station experience with civil.
so how about mechanical, electrical, walls? That's critical, because fire station really is all about indoor quality
With the chiller.
Mechanical team is presenting only fire station pet projects. And their electrical team, only fire station projects.
Okay, so,
So really civil, that's lacking.
okay, that's one, so. She's local, I mean, she's familiar with the local authority, regulatory agency.
She, that's not who it is.
See,
Selected.
Okay, I'm
this
sorry,
company's name is Kimberly.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Engineer's name is Wallace.
okay, I'm sorry, Kimberly, I'm sorry, it was, my apology.
Yeah, the civil teams, so maybe we're a little lower than, and we're more like a 32 based on the civil
Yeah.
team's lack of experience. The architect has many.
Yeah. And mechanical, electrical, too, that would have experience, so I, it's
Is 32 reasonable for
32,
you guys?
32,
Workers.
Mario was already there, so I can.
32.
32, 32.
Criteria number 3.
Yeah. Well, the proposal, they understand the budget and the schedule, so with that regard, I'm doing 14.
Yeah, I found that they demonstrated that they understand. They have a willingness to meet that schedule in the budget. Gave them a 12.
Give them a 13 based on what I saw here. They have a schedule laid out and everything, provided a graphic about how it should be. Whole section on cost control that seems realistic, and achievable.
I was at 12. Again, detailed schedule, some examples of BE. So you said you were at, I think we're at a 13.
Yeah, I had 14. I guess it's
13.
13 works.
13.
Right, and the recent incident workload.
Based on this, the schedule provided, the RLT is between, so it's around 70% for these projects, so.
Yes.
But it's that team availability, but it doesn't mention anything about the consultants and public teams. So teams volunteer, mechanical, electrical, civil, so this. So with that one, I'll give them 14 too.
I think their workload projected now is manageable. They have a higher percentage of availability. With that, I gave them a 13.
Give them a 11. because I don't see anything about the consultants there specifically.
So.
I think that's a fair point. I was at a 14 just based off of their availabilities a lot, but I agree that there's nothing about the consultants, so I feel like that should be kind of brought down. So between 11 and 14, I think we're at
Well,
14-ish.
12, I would say that's pretty much reasonable. 12.
Well, yeah, because the criteria talks about project team.
For the project team. I agree.
There were 12 more.
Next proposal plus.
So
What is the next one?
Plus.
What?
Plus.
Plus. Proxies. Yeah, why have this one? It's so rich.
I don't want to open it.
Why are you missing?
Probably because you can't read your handwriting.
How you like that? I can read it myself. I have a hard time. You know, normally I write it off first quick and then I will go back and write it again. So. Somebody else wants to go on this one and then I'll go.
Sure. So,
Okay, I got it.
okay.
No, go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you got it now.
No, I didn't find it yet. So I'm looking for it.
I'm trying to open it all.
Just go for it and then I'll see.
Okay, so for Plus, it looks like they are teaming up with Praxis 3. And Praxis 3 has many fire station experience and many years of experience. Plus, seemed like they had a lot of experience, but it was really hard to tell what the listed projects that they had were. And then their mechanical, electrical, all their consultants have many, many years of experience in many fire stations. So I was at 30 for them, mostly based off of, I'm assuming they're using Praxis 3 as their main architect, and they would operate as a architect of record or local architect almost.
So look, they're going through another architect to get to this project.
At the Praxis.
they're building a joint venture. I don't know if they.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I don't know
This is
what
not
their
gonna-
contract is, but
Yeah.
it looks like they're teaming up somewhere.
yeah, it's gonna be difficult for us to, track it down, so. But you had,
I have 30.
Chris?
I too had some concerns about how that team dynamic between the two entities works. I noticed that they do have considerable fire station experience, again, on the consultant side. That being said, I gave them a 33.
So they have some fire station experience and some other public safety experience, but I'm not sure about their civil engineer. It looks like they're out of town. When we talk in our RFP about local civil engineer, Snell Engineering, I don't think that's local. Well, preferred to be local. In any event, I gave them a 27.
They are licensed in Florida, that looks like.
I think that's the structural.
Oh, that's structural, I'm sorry.
Next guy is civil.
So, mainly operating on Georgia.
Okay, did you get them on what, I'm sorry?
27.
31.
I was at 30. 30 is our midpoint between all of us right now.
So. Let's stay with 30.
30, okay with you, Dennis?
34 criteria, one for water.
Provide landscape architects, landscape civil, for the civil.
Civil is the last, one on page, civil is on page 19.
On this local,
No, that doesn't appear.
I mean, I'm not saying that local because it's concerning me because local government right here has a different regulatory requirements, you know, so it's not what all this. So they have to be very familiar with this. Other governments, Hillsborough County, obviously.
So the RFQ RFP is asking for RPS,
For qualification.
asking for preferred local. They didn't say it has to be.
No, it's not, but.
So the civil engineer does say they have fire station projects in Florida, so Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch, Inglewood,
Yeah.
Venice, Longboat Key, Sarasota, Siesta Key.
Okay. So I have experience with the fire station, so.
Yes, and in Florida.
So we define local as Florida or Hillsborough?
Well, local is Florida, I believe. We used to be limited to area, now I think it's go beyond, you know, beyond Tampa and Hillsborough County or over, you know, Pasco County, all this. So it's no longer exists, but my concern that they have to be familiar with the local requirements. So,
Well, that's why.
yeah. Anyway, but it's not point to, you know, scrolling down for that, but they got to have experience with the local, Hillsborough County. So anyway, but so you had 31?
No, say what?
Okay,
We're
so
talking about.
one second, things. Yes,
I had 20, but,
okay, I had 31. So you have.
I was at 32.
Okay.
Mario, are you on for criteria?
Criteria 2, so 27.
Okay, I had just noted that they only showed one fire station for their prime.
I had that as well. Same notes.
And it was over 10 years old,
Oh,
and it was in Georgia. Now, their consultants do have some more experience, just their prime architect has less experience, that's all. And then, I had noted that they have 3 recent projects, like within 5 years, but the other 3 projects were more than 10 years old. So that's where I was at kind of a lower score. So more than adequate within the last 5 years, ranked, I think. Probably. I'm like on the way low end compared to this, so,
27.
yeah, I think you're kind of in the middle, Mario,
so
27.
27?
Yeah, absolutely.
27. So.
Okay, criteria number 3.
Criteria number 3 is I have a good understanding of budget and, schedule. So they elaborated on this one and the technology used to monitor this one. So we got agreement 13.
Okay. Great.
I found that their proposal demonstrated a willingness and ability to meet the schedule. I gave them a 13.
Mario?
I gave them a 12 based on what's listed here in reference to schedule, compliance, and personnel involved in the project, or how they will be involved with the project.
Okay, I had given them 11 for that criteria. I thought again, it was more broad strokes. So I think, I would recommend we do a 12. Kind of the midpoint for all of our schools. Okay with that?
Yeah.
Workers. Oh,
Love it.
And then criteria number 4,
Yeah.
did you say you were 11? You're just announcing it, is that what that was?
Yes.
Okay.
So I pronounce it. 11. Okay, so looks like they
Let's-
demonstrated on that, workload on this, they provided all the firms, the sub-consultant on this, so the ability varies between 30 to, 60%. I'm not making any error on this, so with that one, I'm giving 12.
So they projected workload as of today, looks manageable. There is some capacity to take on work in the future. I think that they demonstrated some project management, at least identified some project management tools. That'll be helpful. I put them at 13.
Or about 12. Based on the information presented here, graphically laid out. I'll give you some man hours and that sort of stuff to help you understand exactly their capabilities.
So I was at a 13 also. I think your proposal shows the current workload again, though, for their architecture components. And not necessarily the whole team, unless this graph is supposed to indicate the entire team. That's kind of hard for me to tell. So I think,
It's just their own firms, so.
yeah. So I recommend that we be at like a 12 for this one also.
Right.
So I need to correct myself. I mentioned about their teams. I mean, just their own firms. They didn't provide the subs. So with that reason,
Unless this chart is supposed to be all of them, but it's not clear.
Okay, so 12
Well,
criteria.
Okay, Long and Associates.
so. What's the next coming base?
Criteria 1.
Okay, so non-associate architects that are well experienced, qualified architects, and engineers. In fact, they have in-house disciplines, mechanical, electrical, and have experience with the fire stations. And so it's a little bit plus for us, have it, in all the discipline in-house under the umbrella, like I said. And so with that said, I've been in 34.
They have extensive fire station experience throughout Florida, local presence. I rated them at 27.
So
Okay. Long and Associates, I rated them at 30. Team leader has extensive experience. They, if I remember correctly, was the only firm that explicitly included minority consultants at all. Actually, I'll give them a 33 based on that.
all right, let's go back on the minority issues. That was a different story. So you know what I mean?
Yes, I know it's a different story, but I'm saying they already have it explicitly laid out in their proposal.
Yeah. So
And they have, as a part of their team, they're already pursuing that. I'm not talking about.
yeah, because
So
that
it's
one
just
is,
something.
yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're
We
correct.
get bonus points, right?
They give bonus points, correct. So that will be separate. So the DEV participations factor into these criteria.
So, I mean, yeah, it's a good point. You brought this one as well. So
So-
that one should be all of that criteria thing. So anyway, but they provide, like we said, they provide all the entities, brother, even specialized architecture, yeah.
Civil engineer, cost engineer.
environmental consultant, because there is umbrella environmental consultant because there's the existing building when you demolition is gonna be asbestos involved. That's a good point. They brought a lot of good points right here, so. So with that one, geotechnical survey, all this, so. So what was your school? I'm sorry, 33,
I know it's at 34.
34, 34,
27.
27?
Yep.
Okay, so are you willing to go back?
So we could,
I think they had many fire stations, all of their staff. All of their consultants have many fire stations and have many years of experience too. And a lot of them have many years of experience within that firm also, like longevity in the firm, I think is a bonus, in my opinion, where they're not bouncing around. So, and like Mansour said, I kind of noted also that they have all the trades under one umbrella, which is
Valuable.
kind of a nice.
Yeah.
So, you're at 33, 30, or 34, 34, 33, you're at 27, so I would recommend we're to 32, 33 range there. The 33, they have so much experience.
Yeah. So I have 34, so you had. So you
I
have
think 33 is a bill.
33.
Are you-
I can live with 33.
Yes, I have 30.
33 for criteria one.
Okay, criteria 2.
So. Also, she have experience with the fire station, similar project leaders. In fact, they done so many of those projects similar to fire station, even public safety facilities. So I give him 34.
Again, the previous design experience with both fire and other public safety facilities. I gave him a 29.
I gave them a 33 based on.
33.
Huh?
That was also a 33. Based on the projects presented. So. Like 33, 34, so. I think 32, 33 again.
33.
Things.
33 doesn't match with that, criteria one, it's all experience.
Yeah.
So
I think that's enough experience. So, are you good with that?
33.
Okay. Criteria 3.
Yeah, so, also should understand, schedule and budgeting, that we got that in 14.
Chris?
Yeah, I agree. They understand formed schedules and budgets by all the fire stations they've done elsewhere. I gave them a 15.
Give them a 14 for a member. According to my notes, they have some cost consulting aspect that will help me with that.
I also gave them a 14. I think they had a really detailed project schedule, talked about pricing with RS needs, clear examples of the project scope needs, how they would fast track long lead items, potentially could do early site work packages. They've worked on previous prototype packages, so be familiar with adjacent needs and requirements. On the teaching. So. What's wrong with yours? Oh, yours dying too? Yours doesn't last.
Do you have enough?
Yeah, but we've got one more, so.
Yeah, I've got not enough.
Oh, yours is dead. I thought it was yours, Ethan. And it's like, man, that went really fast. So 3 of us are at 14. Are we good with 14?
Yes.
14.
Okay.
All right, criteria number 4.
That was 14.
Yes, sir.
So, criteria number 4, this is the availability of firms. The available time for this project, for this proposal is between 40 to 60%.
Mhm.
But then they didn't provide, for the disciplines, availability schedules, so like civil,
For a lot of the disciplines
in-house, but the civils, I'm talking about civil, so landscape architects.
They put electrical, plumbing, structural, but you're right, they're missing civil.
Yeah, so with that one, I'll give it 14 too.
Okay. Chris?
I think the proposal demonstrated their workload is manageable. There's some capacity to improve. I did too make the note about the internal trade consultants having hopefully a positive impact on the schedule. I rated them at 13.
Are you?
rated at 13 also.
And I had a 14.
Yeah. They provide a lot of resources, backup resources.
I was gonna say, one thing to note on their proposal is on the first page, it lists 19 other staff members that could be dedicated to the project. So between electrical engineers, structural engineers, other architects associates, interior designers, additional CAD production. So we have a lot of backup staff that is available. Or they're one of the only firms, I think that's represented the quantity of staff that they have to pull from, which I think was a great bonus to this proposal. So I'm at a 14 for them for that criteria.
14.2, so.
I got 14.
Yeah,
14 is fine.
14. All right. So,
All right, last one, KPA.
that one was behind me, so. Yeah, so. Okay.
Criteria one.
Let me go to find it here. I have the pictures for that. Okay, APA, architects. Established 2019, 2020. I have no experience with the fire station in-house, as a plant firm. As a fire station experience, not with this firm, with different firms, previous firms, so just make corrected, so. They didn't provide any information on the civils or landscape architects on this one. So there's no any fire station with this firm, so, but with that said, so, I just give it 30. Well, 28, I'm sorry.
Bakers.
So, I noticed as well that the principal has fire station experience, but it doesn't apply necessarily across the firm. They do have experience with large scale public sector projects. And their Sarasota location is advantageous. I rated them a 28.
So I rated them a 19. The team is, in my opinion, incomplete. That I'm a civil engineer, and due to minimal fire station experience and minimal experience with government projects.
So I'm on the complete other end of the spectrum from you guys. I rated them a 5 experience.
Yeah.
Because their prime architect says they have project experience, but there's no specific experience here. It just says apartment complexes and condos, fire stations, justice county buildings, libraries, but I don't see any specific projects. There's no names of projects, there's no years completed, there's no budget for the projects on this resume. Whereas the engineers do have some specific projects indicated. Whether they were fire stations or not, but they're at least they're more specific on fire stations or on the project themselves.
Mhm.
And then I also noted that their that the mechanical engineer has limited experience with this project type. I'm unclear on the number of years of experience they have, just how long they've been practicing. Plumbing engineer has one fire station project. Electrical engineer has been practicing for 10 years, but no fire station projects. And the other electrical, unclear of how many years of experience they have. And then no other resumes of any other architectural staff. So I'm really unclear on who's working on the project other than their principal. And no proposed structural or civil team. So I had a hard time putting them in a category of superior or more than adequate. I think it's minor or adequate or marginal, in my opinion, because I just am very unclear who's on the project. So I think, again, we need to decide if we're adequate, minor, more than adequate, where we think the project team as a whole.
All the fact that, architects so claim that he has experience with the fire station, even if it's not done with that firm, work with a previous firm. So that one was my, thing. So I wasn't going to do 35 or, giving 30, so that's the lowest that's full.
I guess my issue is it just says fire station, but it doesn't.
So there's a lot, when it's children before 30.
Yeah, it's a little confusion right here, so that if you do the fire station with the firm,
I see. You're getting this from criteria number 2, though.
I'm going there, looking at this, and I'm saying that,
But based on his resume, he doesn't indicate any of those fire stations.
no, you didn't, but I'm saying that, but you say that he done the fire station, so in other words, he doesn't have you done any fire station projects? That's the experience different story, because, you know, we're gonna get to that, but I'm saying that if this firm have done any fire stations. You know, so experience will be different, so if it's done any project to that level.
I'll
Okay.
concede to your argument there, Mansoor, but
It still doesn't get you to.
I would agree that it still doesn't
Qualify.
get me to superior.
Yeah, he's not, so, you know,
So
respectfully, I respect that, you know.
I think you're at adequate. But then even adequate says, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong. I'm sorry. Adequate, contains all the necessary disciplines, which it doesn't. So this between 6 to 12 project team lacks minor disciplines. I think you're in that category.
Okay, let's,
Because we're lacking structural, we're lacking civil, and any additional architects on the team.
so, are you willing to go with what you have, fine.
Because I don't know who the team is, so I can go to 12, which is that range of criteria.
Yeah.
Some project team.
19 with 12 is more.
Reasonable, 12, I'm okay with 12. And, Chris, you okay with that 12? What was your score?
I was at 28.
So
Okay, like my case.
Yeah.
So 12, because that doesn't fall really to that kind of.
Terra points are well placed,
so
well taken.
yeah, so it's exceptional level of
Yeah.
experience.
So let's go with it, 12.
Well, for criteria, 1 for KPA.
Okay, criteria number 2.
10. So, you know, experience, but it doesn't say experience with the firms, you know, so, and what he's using, those references using right there, says that he was a prime firm. Prime firm is a firm right now you're working,
Right.
you know, something. So
Prime
prime firm,
was with the prime firm.
Yeah.
yeah,
Better.
but no, when you start in the present experience right there is with a prime firm.
Right.
So,
Well, he may have been the prime project manager. at the prime.
yeah, not prime
Previous
firm.
project.
So that's,
So it could be better explained.
yeah.
I weighed that lack of experience heavier in this particular category. I see that they have experience with similar type projects, but not necessarily as much fire stations experience as we'd like to see. Rated them at 23. So
I rated him an 18 based on marginal experience.
Well, for the, again, the principal has fire station projects like you were arguing before, but they are more than 5 to 10 years old. There's no recent examples. There's no, I also kind of put them down at
Yeah.
a level because there's no imagery of the fire
Yeah.
station. So it's for me to tell architecturally what they're capable of from an, you know what I mean? Where all of the other proposals show me various architectural styles and
Yeah.
typologies and different site conditions. I have no idea what these fire stations look like or anything like that. So,
So,
and then, I also noted that I was unclear on the cost of the projects and whether they were new projects, new builds, or if they were renovation projects. So,
Yeah, that's a lot of points of clarification. There.
so,
so again, going back to the scoring criteria, where minor successful experience, adequate successful experience, or more than adequate. I think we're all kind of in this range right now of adequate successful experience. That's between 13 and 19. And then actually, Murray, or I guess Mansoor and I are in minor.
No, Chris,
I was at 23, so
I'm sorry,
were you Mansoor?
I was at 10.
I wrote 10 for you.
18, sorry.
So let's stay with that 12.
Which is the top end of minor successful experience with projects.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys agreeable to that?
Yes, ma'am, 12.
The 12 is minor successful experience with projects of similar size and type.
With that firm. with that firm, so.
Yeah, prime firms
Yes.
approach, are, in. Well, it says that they're inadequate to provide the level of service required for this project, and the scope of services provided vary from the RPS scope. Again, I have a hard time determining whether the projects were new builds, renovations,
Yeah.
what was happening at this fire station project, so.
I'm very concerned, without any fire station in this firm, so I don't see fire station without a current firm.
Well,
12. All right, criteria 2.
That, so that's it. Okay, approach, the schedule budget looks fine, the KP understand the schedule and budget. But we have to see more details such as V item alternates, so how you gonna control the budget? Without wanna give them 10.
I think again, they showed a reasonable willingness and an ability to meet the schedule. Was a little light on the details on how to achieve that. I ended up with at 13.
How are you?
I have them, I have 8 points for them at this point. Yeah, it's not a whole lot about how to get through issues that we come along, through scared with the budget.
Had a 6 for
Still
the
got it.
criteria. Mostly I noted that there indicates that there will be a PM, but there was no resume submitted for a PM. So I'm, again, unclear on who. It just says we will assign a dedicated PM to serve as a point of contact, but I don't know who that person is or anything like that. So, I think everyone's in a submittal shows good understanding of approach to scope. That's between 6 and 10. So I think based off of where we are score wise, I recommend we're at 10.
That's fine.
Between 6 and 13.
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, he went to the extent. Talk about quality control of this, so schedule this, so, continue customer monitoring. That's 10 is pretty much reasonable.
Dead.
And then criteria number 4.
Okay, so
Last
that one said the availability of firms is 35%. Then, the sub-consultant, when the service is not provided, any schedule, or they are ready to put that on. So, with that one, I give them 10.
Chris?
They were a little light on the workload detail and how to manage it. They projected they'll be able to handle it. I gave them a 13.
Give them an 8 again, based on,
Oh,
8,
Okay.
based on, lack of detail.
Okay, and I had 4 for this criteria. I just put, there was no clear indication of their projected workload, and I was unsure of the quantity of projects and duration, other than it says 35% available. But it's really difficult for me to drill down through their proposal. What for projects were contributing to that workload right now. So I just put it in generic to me. So I think 8 is our midpoint for that criteria, which indicates they show a adequate time and available. It's adequate time and available personnel to complete the services, or the previous criteria is adequate time and available personnel, and their workload may impact the ability to complete services.
So what do you had,
I put a 4, I put them in this category.
of this?
It's- You're in between 4 and 5.
Yeah. You had 11, 13, and what do you have, 8?
These guys are.
Let's go.
I think we're here.
Yeah.
We're in this range.
So let's go with the,
I'm suggesting that we go in the midpoint.
yeah, not with the Mario thing, so 8.
Okay, 8.
8.
Agreed, possible.
8. Do it. Do the math.
1 second.
Dying. Dying of me.
Finished my water and some more.
I'm sorry, it's not having.
Okay, so
That's why we make you chairman.
that completes the evaluation committee's consensus scoring. I'm gonna read down the sheet here, make sure we have all the scores correct. After I get through the 4 criteria for each firm, you guys can just all say agreed,
Okay.
so that we know that is these marking stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll start at the top, and then after that, I'll do the economic development, employment, work, past performance, and give the final rankings. So we'll start at the top. Wanamaker Jensen Architects, Inc. Criteria 1 scored 34. Criteria 2 scored 34. Criteria 3 scored 14. If I'm going too fast, tell me. And criteria 4 scored 14. A big got.
Yes, agree.
That is a evaluation criteria score of 96. They also got 5 points for DM/DWE participation, 5 for volume of work, and 3 for past performance rating, for a total subtotal score of 109. Up next, Frank G. Relp, architect, score of 12 for criteria 1, score of 22 for criteria 2, score of 10 for criteria 3, and score of 10 for criteria 4.
Great.
That's not correct.
Yes.
That is a evaluation criteria score of 54. They got 0 for DM/DWE participation, 5 for volume of work, and 3 points for past performance rating, for a score of 62. Fleischman Garcia Maslowski Architecture, 34 for criteria 1, 34 for criteria 2, 13 for criteria 3, and 13 for criteria 4.
Agreed.
Agreed. Okay.
That is a evaluation score of 94. They also got 5 for DM/DWE participation, 0 for volume of work, and 5 for past performance, for a total score of 104. Wilder Architecture, Inc., 33 for criteria 1, 33 for criteria 2, 14 for criteria 3, and 14 for criteria 4. Agreed?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes, agreed.
That is a 94 for total evaluation criteria. They got 0 for DM/DWBE, 0 for volume of work, and 5 for past performance, for a total score of 99. Carruthers and Associates Architects.
Carruthers?
Yes, Carruthers, excuse me, Carruthers. They got 20 for criteria 1, 15 for criteria 2, 8 for criteria 3, and 8 for criteria 4. 51 evaluation criteria, 0 for DM/DWBE, 5 for volume of work, and 3 for past performance, for a total score of 59. LDB Blue Line, Inc., 29 for evaluation criteria 1, 30 for evaluation criteria 2, 12 for evaluation criteria 3, and 10 for evaluation criteria 4.
Agreed.
Yes.
For an evaluation criteria score of 81, 0 for DM/DWBE, 5 for volume of work, and 3 for past performance, for a score of 89. Rispoli and Associates Architecture, Inc., 32 for criteria 1, 32 for criteria 2, 13 for criteria 3, and 12 for criteria 4. That is an 89 total. 0 for DM/DWBE, 5 for volume of work, and 3 for past performance, for a total score of 97. Plus LLC, 30 for criteria 1, 27 for criteria 2, 12 for criteria 3, and 12 for criteria 4. Great. That is an 81 total for evaluation criteria, a 0 for DM/DWBE, a 5 for volume of work, and a 3 for past performance, for an 89 subtotal. Long and Associates, 33 criteria 1, 33 for criteria 2, 14 for criteria 3, and 14 for criteria 4.
Agreed.
That is a 94 total for evaluation criteria, 5 for DM/DWBE participation, 2 for volume of work, and 4 for past performance rating, for a 105 total. APA Architecture, last one, 12 for criteria 1, 12 for criteria 2, 10 for criteria 3, 8 for criteria 4. There's a 42 total for evaluation criteria. They got 0 points for DMWBE, 5 points for volume of work, and 3 for past performance for a total of 50.
Okay.
So those are the 10. Yeah, I know we discussed this earlier, but is there a desire to shortlist for orals?
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Some of them are very close.
Okay, I think a natural cutoff here would be there are 3 in the 100s. Wanamaker Jensen at 109, Fleischman Garcia at 104, and Long and Associates at 105. Satisfied with 3, or do you want more?
I think if we go more.
Let's go for 4.
If you go 4, you might need to go
I
5.
think we need to go 5.
Five.
If we go 4.
Mhm.
Because the score between 4 and 5 are so close. So it's either 3 or 5, I think.
Okay, so
Who the 4 or 5?
well,
You have a 99 and a 97 right now. You have the top 3 are 109, 104, and 105. The best scores.
And the next highest scores are 99 and 97.
so
But based off of, that's with their, all their bonus points total.
Right, yeah.
We
We won't change it. That's right, of course.
right, I was just gonna look at where we were. um, Before the bonus points, they're at 96, 94, 94, 94, 89. So they were.
closer.
Mhm.
You have to make a decision right now on this.
Do not technically, as if we know we want a short list, we can finalize the number.
Yeah.
in summary.
So let's
Okay,
let's
let's
think about
think about that, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna short list.
definitely we're gonna be for this.
3
Yes.
at a maximum of 5.
Okay, so if you guys can, that's fine, that's totally.
Yeah.
And what's gonna happen is you're gonna submit me a summary of today.
Okay,
If you guys will just share notes with Tara so she can write that summary.
Yeah, and you recorded it too, right?
It's recorded, yeah,
Can you send it to her?
of course. So if you're watching online, please just monitor Bonfire for updates about what the next step will be here. If there's nothing else from you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go ahead and conclude the evaluation committee meeting for RPS 25-00191, architectural/engineering services for Brandon Fire Station number 11 replacement.
Anytime, thank you, I appreciate all your
Have a good
efforts on this. Thank you, everyone.